In Precursor, you play as one of the Chroniclers, a group of individuals who exist outside of time. Their members have been known to humanity as some of the most notable people in history. Above all else, their responsibility is to rectify any imbalances in the timeline caused by people trying to rewrite or modify history, both in the future and in the past. The Chronicler's headquarters is called the Hub, the historian's universal base, which exists outside of time. This is where chroniclers research, study, postulate, and learn about the times and places in human history. Aboard the Hub, ideologies, and sometimes egos, clash as history's greatest minds debate the causes and effects of major events. That is, until one day, one of the chroniclers decides to take things into his own hands. Ptolemy I Soter, one of your fellow chroniclers, begins tampering with history. His goal? To assimilate the world's knowledge in his great library of Alexandria, prevent its burning, and serve as the ruler there forever. Pursuing him through time and correcting his actions is the only option available. Civics, economics, geography, history. Each are an integral part of a middle schooler's education. Without information literacy, however, names, dates, and events can be simply accepted and tossed aside after each lesson. Students need to be able to solve problems and make decisions by using information. They need to grapple with sources that illustrate context and perspectives. But only by tackling this evidence in a systematic way will they develop the skills for information problem solving. Not only will the Big Six aid students in their social studies education, but, ultimately, throughout their lives as responsible, information-consuming citizens. The first place that Ptolemy visits is ancient Mesopotamia, where he disrupts the labor force, economy, and even the hanging gardens by stealing their knowledge of irrigation. The player assumes their duty as a chronicler and sets up behind Ptolemy to fix this mess. By completing this level, students will analyze how Mesopotamian irrigation systems and surplus grain contributed to specialized labor, a strong economy, and the advancement of Sumerian culture and industrial achievements. In this example, farmers tell the player that despite all of their prayers, their crops are failing. The player is tasked with introducing the concept of irrigation to the Sumerian people, who were told not to allow water to flood or a great curse would fall over their land. To do this, the user must demonstrate basic concepts of irrigation and convince NPCs to disregard Ptolemy's apocalyptic decrees by espousing the merits and accomplishments they can achieve with their surplus grain. After being accused by Ptolemy of spreading curses around the land, the player is imprisoned for their crimes. Since Mesopotamia did have a court system, the player gets the chance to plead their case according to the Code of Hammurabi. For example, using their prior knowledge of Mesopotamian culture, they need to forage for information in this virtual environment and choose specific edicts of the Hammurabi Code to prove their innocence. As they conduct this foraging, the player has their pedagogical agent with them to assist in their information-seeking strategies. To plead their innocence, the player must determine all possible pieces of evidence and select the best ones to ensure their freedom. Once the player achieves their innocence, they're rewarded for their accomplishments by having one more time to explore ancient Sumer and even participate in a Sumerian chariot race. After completing this level, students will be able to describe other Sumerian cultural achievements. Once the player has ended their exploration of Sumer and participated in the chariot races, they will be rewarded with prizes that they can take back to the hub. These prizes act as proof of their successes. They are aesthetic memorabilia that can help the player connect with any of their past destinations and serve as a visual representation of important aspects of the societies they visit. As the player pursues Ptolemy further and further through time, they face challenges that support social studies curricula and build information problem-solving skills. These Big Six skills include task definition, information-seeking strategies, location and access, use of information, synthesis, and evaluation. Their adventures will take them to ancient Egypt, Kush, India, China, and Mesoamerica before finally setting time right from Ptolemy's chaos. Throughout these travels, players will analyze governmental systems and principles, draw connections between geographic features and growth, watch the rise of empires through economic policy, and experience perspectives of the different peoples who lived during these great civilizations.